Anna?
Yeah, Anna.
Anna was on the board over there.
Miss
She
Anna.
was going to be off today, so do you remember if she's in this one or the next one?
She's in session.
Oh, okay, good. She was going to have a dental appointment today, but she's smashed it. All right. So I guess Anna is trailing a little bit, but she'll be great. So thanks everybody for coming. I know Bryce made a big effort to come here from Stafford. I know you've been moving lots of things around, so thanks for doing that. And I know you all make a big effort to get away from the farm to be here with us. So Zane is here just to kick us off. Then he'll leave, Cody will join us, and we'll get right to work.
So thanks everyone for being here and coming into this session today. I just wanted to thank you for the time first off, and also really encourage you to be open and share better in this session. We really value all of your feedback, so the more honest and curious you can be with us, the more we can strive to improve forever. Obviously, that doesn't mean like we can give everyone a new car tomorrow. It's not Oprah. But we really want real feedback to see ways we can improve, ways that things are going well, things that you like, things you don't like, and I'll let Natalia and Cody lead you through this process. Nothing that you say will be used against you in a court of law, so please be open.
Thank you.
We're happy to hear everything that you guys have to contribute.
Thanks, Zane.
All right.
Thanks for being here.
Take care.
So yeah, we're not recording this meeting.
No, we're not. Don't get tangled up. Oh, gosh. It'll be fun. So, super. So Cody and I are going to facilitate this session, and what you're participating in is very similar to what we've already done with 2 other groups. So we were able to get them off-site for a longer session. We're going to do this one in an hour, and thankfully Charlie could release you from the farm so that you could come here and be with us. But I want to echo what Zane said, that this is your opportunity to speak up, speak out, tell us things we need to know. Tell us things that you think we should know, but we don't know. Don't assume we know anything. And be as open and honest as you can with us, because we really need to learn. And what I've been trying to do, I don't know if you've noticed any effort, but to try to create this opportunity for you to give feedback. We did that like with benefits recently, where you all spoke up and said, yes, we want a 401k. And other times when we've asked, tell us what's important to you. Because all of us now are working on building this company, building this culture, building this environment. And I can't kind of swoop in like a big Canadian goose from where I come from and think I know everything, because I don't. A lot of you have been here a lot longer than I have. So I need to learn. What we're going to start off with is a little bit of intro, and then we're going to go around to you guys, and you guys will do a little bit of intro as well. Oh, good. Hi there. So I'm not going to repeat myself. Anna, you kind of know what this is about already because we talked about it yesterday. So I'll introduce myself. I'm not going to assume you know a whole lot about me. I was born and raised in Minnesota. My husband still has a farm in Minnesota, so he goes there a couple times a year to farm. It's a certified organic farm. And I'm one of 3 children. I was born in Minnesota and raised in a Ukrainian household. My parents were Ukrainian immigrants, so I didn't speak English till I was 5. The events of the war of the last 2 years have weighed heavily on me. I have 3 children. One lives now in Albuquerque. She's a kindergarten teacher. And one lives in Berlin, in Germany, and she works for Babbel, the language company. And I have so that's the 2 daughters, and I have a son who lives not far from us in Portland, Oregon, and he is a supervisor in a microchip manufacturing firm. I have one husband. I keep telling him he's my first husband. But anyhow, I have one husband and one big dog who's as big as I am. And we decided about 2-3 years ago, when our kids all kind of flew the coop, that we wanted to explore the Pacific Northwest. So we sold our family home, and we live in a tiny apartment out near Portland, and sold a bunch of our furniture and decided to be out there so that we could hike and explore. for a couple of years until we need to kind of settle again. I got into HR early in my career. I was telling Anna this yesterday that after high school I went to Peru on an exchange program, and that's when I really realized I love looking at relationships between people. I love observing how people learn from each other. I went to Peru without knowing any Spanish and had to kind of make my way when I was 17 years old. But it really defined how I look at groups and people and relationships. And I've worked for a lot of different companies, including Medtronic, IBM, the University of Minnesota, a couple others, but my last 3 companies have all been plant science companies. One was a seed production facility, and the last one was an indoor urban hydroponic vertical farming company. And when I left that job, I never thought I'd be lucky enough to work in another indoor urban hydroponic farming company, and I landed here, and I'm really pleased to be here. So that's maybe 3 minutes about me, and then maybe we go around to you guys and we end with Cody. Should we do it that way? So please, take 2-3 minutes. I want to get to know you. We all want to get to know you. So I'm not going to point unless I have to. So, and go, someone.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Liam.
I'm Liam Parker. I have lived in Houston since 2000. Previously, I still live in Oklahoma City. I am one of 4 and the youngest. Oldest is Caitlin, she's 44, and my brother, Brendan, 42, and my sister, Nora, 34. My sister Caitlin lives in Portland.
Oh.
Brendan with his wife and 2 kids in Oklahoma City. And my sister Nora lives in Phoenix. I went to school at LSU, Baton Rouge, and I was a landscape architecture major. So I was in art design for 5 years in that major. I learned a lot about plant design, but not so much about plant science. So when I graduated, I was in my career field for about 3 years until the pandemic happened and layoffs began. And that's when I found out that change in what I wanted to do, rather than interesting. So I thought, I wanted to get more into horticulture, but I didn't know how. I didn't know, without going back to school for plant science. So I heard about this job here, so decided to jump on it. And like I was laying turf, like astroturf with my brother when I was in the city for my time. I had to get out of it because it was pretty basic. As soon as the summer months come, it feels like fun. Anyways,
Good for you. Thanks, Liam. We didn't ask the 3 questions that in the PowerPoint.
Did you want to wait to do introductions first and then ask?
I'm going to just kind of throw out the questions. We did prepare a slide that kind of could frame what you're going to share about yourselves. And that slide said, what makes you excited to come to work every day? Something like that, or what keeps you coming here? So if you want to share that with us. And then the other one is going to be Cody's question.
My question, which is, what's your pet peeves? But I'm going to have you write them down so you can write your honest pet peeves, right? And then I'll mix them up and we'll just say them out loud, right? If you want to put your name on it, you want to be vocal about your pet peeves, no worries. But it kind of makes it easier that way because you can say what pet peeves are without.
Okay, I already know mine.
Your chest. Do you want to answer any of those questions? Or motivate you?
yeah, what was the first?
So what keeps you coming to work? Like what inspires you
I
here?
think Dream Harvest's message and their vision for the future that they
Love it.
want to influence. I think that.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to watch the clock, or you guys can watch the clock. It's 39 now. Next person gets 2 to 3 minutes and go.
Oh, what keeps you working here?
Oh, it keeps you working here. So soon.
What keeps me working here? Basically, that message is still
Then it's
strong, like the foundation of what
Yep.
we do.
All right.
I haven't seen that switch.
All right, who's that?
Hello.
Hi, Bryce.
My name's Bryce Voss. I was born in Albuquerque, and I only lived there like 3 years. I go back occasionally. My grandpa still lives there. A few of my family members, mostly on my mom's side. Well, actually, we discovered that my dad has a sister there that he didn't know about until he was 51.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing a few years ago. But yeah, we moved here about, when I was 3, so I'm 28 now. 25 years ago, somewhere in that range. So I've been living here most of my life. And I started my work process with a job at a restaurant that was terrible, and then moved right from that into a Kroger job that was not terrible at the start, but slowly degraded into a much worse spot, especially during the pandemic. That's when it got really bad. I was working well over 60 hours every week. I was, didn't get days off for months at a time. It was really bad, and I didn't realize how bad it was until I finally got fed up with that place and then tried to work somewhere else. Just had massive panic attacks, huge anxiety. I was having so many issues with it that I couldn't work for a while. So I just kind of took a mental health break off that, and then this was one of the first places I applied for, and it just worked out so perfectly. It was like, hey, we need a driver. Do you want to drive? I was like, I love driving. It's one of my favorite things to do. I also know about produce departments and manage entire Kroger stores and know all about the retail environment and everything. So it was just worked out really perfectly. So first time coming here, had none of those issues, nothing like that. Very welcoming environment, everything like that. That's one of the things that definitely keeps me here. And like Liam said, the vision of it, it's that's really cool. Just, it's awesome. All the high-tech farming stuff that I was completely unaware of before I first came in here, it's just really cool, and it's actually something that you can do that has a benefit to the world, And I think that's really cool, and that's why I keep coming back.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Mike.
Happy to have you.
That's great.
Legion, okay.
All right.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Chandara Kam. I'm born and raised in Cambodia for the first 21 years. And then I take a master's degree in Hungary for 2 years. No, I don't know why they give me a scholarship to learn biotech. Anyway, after that,
In Hungary?
yes, I don't speak the language. It's an English program. Their language is so hard that they make a joke that you learn internally. We get it. Anyway, so after that, I take an internship to the States, which is 5 years ago. That's when I first came here. And lucky enough, the first internship, the place that accepted me was hydroponic related in New Hampshire. And that's when I hooked on into hydroponic and keep going with it. In hydroponic, I worked a total of almost 3 years
That's awesome.
doing a whole bunch of different things, but similar. Yeah, so that's how I started with hydroponic. And I like doing it. I think it makes a difference.
How did you end up in Texas?
I moved out from New Hampshire, come here. I don't know why that to San Antonio. It was San Antonio. I lived there 2 years before I come here. 2 years ago, there was no hydroponic in San Antonio. In fact, there's nothing except in Houston. That's when I started.
What brought you to San Antonio from New Hampshire?
Oh, my aunt and my uncle, they live there, and I just figured out better to live it and save me some rent.
Yes. Good for you. Wow. I learned some things about you. Thank
While
you.
I was there, I also worked a year something making donuts. I know how to make chickpea donuts.
Oh.
I could run a store if I want to, but
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Wow.
All right, let's go. Thank you, Dara.
I guess my turn. Hey guys, Anna. Okay, so basically how I ended up here, I was, the pandemic happened, and I got into gardening, and I was traditional, and I saw this company on Indeed, and it had 1-star review, and so I passed it up until I saw it again, and I was like, you know what, I want to see how it is, the high-tech version of gardening and whatnot, and see how it would play out, because I have a retail background, and then I also studied some farm design in university, and so I just wanted to see how it would be this new hobby of mine, the gardening, and so I was amazed with the whole place, because once I stepped in, I had no idea about the hydroponics. I used to be a scaredy cat with the water, because I would be like a cat, and now I'm just so used to getting wet now. And I used to have even a whole tray full of water into my boots. I'm that cool with the water now. And so music playing and everything. It was just like when I walked in, so I was like, this is amazing. And of course, like I come back and the environment and the people is so wholesome. It's like we're having this discussion right now. It's a fun time. And the airplane competition, it's just so random. I don't understand. So yeah, but I'm glad to be here, and plus like you get to play music and like being very hands-on, and also you get to be very personal with everybody. And yeah,
I love it. Thank you,
I'm
Anna.
glad you.
I'll go next.
Let's go to the coach.
Well, I really liked what she said about like the whole environment. That's actually what got me into doing any kind of active service. It has to do with environmental things. At first, I didn't see it as plainly as I see it now, but the journey to it was pretty everywhere. So I started off with customer service, get to know people, getting to interact with people. It didn't matter what kind of job. At this point in my life, I started off when I was 16, just getting to know different variations of people. So I worked for fast food places. I tried all the like local things that I could find to talk to anybody. But I started very young. The only girl from my family, as far as my brothers, from my mom and my dad's side. How can I say this? I was born in different areas of Texas. I was born in Galveston, and then from 7, I moved to El Paso, which is a desert, complete desert, like no water whatsoever. So the isolation of a small town to like an absolute nobody is around you for miles, it was quite interesting because there was a lot of that reflective personality within me. So getting to know environment was just a no-brainer for me. Like I like to know about people and what we live on. So I fell into astrology a lot, growing up, looking at stars. But then I got to know that there's a weird resemblance with our human patterns. So I got kind of obsessed with that, and then I dropped that. Then I found a career where it was more towards electronics. I didn't really know much about electronics, but once I got into it, I started working into breaking it apart. I was in this company for like 5 years. So we broke down a lot of parts from a lot of companies that had no idea what they were, but the whole doing it for the environment was the main target. So I worked up to be a technician, full-on repairs, dialogue of like just knowing the ins and outs of those kind of like terminologies, and I kind of felt like very rushed because there was just a lot of people that were in college there or that finished school there, and I kind of like kept up with everybody, so that kind of made me happy that I could work really quick and learn how to adapt. So I left that company, and then when I came here, it almost had the same nuances, like as far as what I was looking for, helping the environment, making an impact with my environment, but making sure that the people that are around me are thinking the same way. So that's why this company, getting to know like a small company, is very amazing to me. It gets to meet every single person in a very intimate level. And I just really, really enjoy the company for everyone what they do. And everyone has a total different background, but yet it fits so well. So I like when I'm reading about astrology, like it's my side thing because I really appreciate how I could value each person what they do, and it's important to me to see that a job really cares about that many people, and the random things, the airplane, the parties, it's great. And as far as like what I see in the future in the company, I just hope we have these better understandings of each role. Even if it's VAFA, like I know we're a small part, but yeah, we're big.
Yeah, you
but
are.
that's the whole point. I just want us to have a voice and none of us be feeling like we can't talk to y'all about anything. So yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, we got 2 more people.
Yeah, me.
Oh, info. 2 people info.
Thanks.
Oh.
Me? Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Hiếu Nguyễn. Yeah. I'm born in Vietnam. I moved here from 2016. Yeah. About 7 years I live here. About member of my family, I have a big family. Yeah. I'm a baby.
You're the baby.
Yeah. But I have five old sisters.
5 sisters.
Yeah, 5 old sisters. Yeah.
Any brothers?
No brother.
No brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I live with my mother and sister.
Their mother and sister are both here.
Yeah.
Great. Good.
In Vietnam, I have two family in Vietnam.
Okay.
From here, I work 3 companies.
Mm-hmm.
The first company I work inside the warehouse, do something, unlock material from trucks. And second company, I control the machine, water jet machine. Anyone know about water jet machine?
I'm not familiar with them.
The machine yield machine cut the iron, yield only water. Yield water cut iron.
Water pressure.
Yeah, water pressure.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Well,
so tall.
and here you're surrounded by water too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Super.
But I have to work 12 hours a day.
Oh,
From 5 p.m. to 5 a.m.
it's a long day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah. And after that, I moved to here about 4 years.
Okay.
In here, I can work everyone. Everybody is friendly. Yeah. I can listen music when I work. Yeah,
Nice.
I love it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
And you had a
nice.
birthday this week.
Yeah, bye
Happy
bye.
birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you. Good.
Oh, and last year I am married.
You got married.
Right, I got married.
Congratulations.
Thank you again.
Congratulations. Super. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Hugh. Thanks for sharing that.
Okay.
Who has her 1-year anniversary with the company today?
So I'm from the Northeast, and I have a half brother and 2 step siblings, and went to school in Nashville and had a very unique major, human organizational development, and I went to school specifically for that major. And when I graduated, I worked as a counselor in a Head Start program. So we worked with low-income families and found community resources to help with their situation. And from there, I moved to Chicago. I worked in human resources at a bank, and then I moved here to Houston because my partner is from here. And had the intention of going into hospitality, so I worked as a cruise counselor for a minute. The money was really good, and I got to travel, so I never made that transition. And then the pandemic happened.
Oh.
And then in between that, like, I've worked as I taught English as a second language for 2 years. I got a life coach certification. And what brought me to Dream Harvest is because I want to buy land, live off the land, and grow my own food. And I had no idea everybody was like, go to YouTube. And I was like, yeah, or. So, I use Indeed a lot to job search, and I came across Dream Harvest, and I love the fact that it was a startup, and I love the fact that it was small, and just coming on site for an interview was very awesome. Funny story though, I had applied for like a month and got no response. And my cover letter was like, I will work for free on that. And so I called Amy, who was the manager at the time. Well, I sent a message to her on LinkedIn, like, please, I would love to work for your company, and I'd like love to come in and just meet with you all. And then, long story short, after a couple of interviews, I got the job. So I was really happy about that. And ever since then, it's just been all she wrote. She's been very happy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm happy you're here too.
I'm happy.
All right, Cody, you're on. You're the big finale.
The finale. My name's Cody. Something you probably know about me now is I like paper airplanes podcasts. I take them probably a little too seriously. So my background, I've always been in technology and business, and took that route, big companies, worked all over the place, all over the country. And my family background is they're actually farmers, like generations of farmers all the way back to the 1700s. In fact, we still have a farm in Indiana that is painted on the barn. It's a red barn like you would expect. Corn and beans. It's our homestead. And that's the side of my family that traditional farming, like their concern was always how much water are we getting? Like every time I talk to my grandparents, it was how much water. I'm like, I want nothing to do with this. I like the technology side. So anyway, I stepped away from that, and I'm like, it wasn't the environment for me. I'm like, I don't want to do farming. I want to go business, technology, big city, solve bigger problems. And when I started, I wouldn't even say I was really looking. Maybe similar to Natalia, is Dream Harvest just popped up, and like many of you said, it was a startup. It was in what you would say probably technological farming compared to what traditional farming is, and that was interesting. And one of the biggest things that stood out to me is I grew up in farming and I wanted nothing to do with it, and now I found myself in a place applying for a farming company, growing. But if you look at it as it is, if there's one thing we've done since the dawn of man, that is plant seeds in the ground and water them and expect sunlight. And now we're in a time, this generation we're changing all of that. And so to be able to be a part of that, where technology now makes perfect sense with farming, like it was the perfect blend. I was like, I have to do this. And like some of you, like I started talking to Zane, I was watching his podcast. Who's this guy? Let me find out as much as I can about the company. And then getting here, it's meeting all of you, getting to know you, and like so many of you have said as well, is the people. Like I can't picture in my entire career a more inclusive, tight-knit, accepting, diverse, like, but in one space down South Breeze, when I first drove down this road, I'm like, what am I doing here?
What is this?
Like, where are they taking me? I'm like, is this a legitimate company?
Yeah.
Or am I like,
Exactly.
so anyway, long story short, super happy to be here. The energy from the leadership team, the things we want to accomplish, all the way down to the farm and everything that we bring together, super excited to be a part of it.
I'm going to share a story about Cody. When we recruited him, he's the only candidate in all my years of human resources that after he accepted the offer and we were talking about benefits, he showed up on a Zoom call with his entire family. And I've never had.
She's like, we had to talk about benefits, and I'm like, I don't care about health and policy and like flexible spending. It's like my wife does. Like, put her on the call. It's like,
And the children. You had one of your sons.
oh, you'd already met my kids, and they're popping in saying hi to me. It felt like we were talking to like a long lost aunt.
I know. I was like, I've never had any candidate show up
Join
with
the
like the
family
whole
on the
family.
Zoom call.
Like he's the one. It really affirmed to me that I want to work with this guy. So thank you everybody for sharing like you did. I hope you learned something about each other too. I know that you work together side by side all day, every day, but sometimes you just have to pause and say hello.
Let me do this real first. So it's
Okay.
all this right here. This might be easiest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass this around. Write down your pet peeve.
Take a pen.
Well, I'm just gonna pass the deck
Oh,
down.
okay.
Write it down, take it off, fold it up, and then I'll collect them when everyone's done. And then we'll read them later,
Okay.
whenever's the right time. So.
Super. Okay. All right, then I'll start introducing this next thing. So what we want to do, and what we did with the last groups was this, okay? We want to open the discussion in a way that you can share with us what we need to know as we continue to form this company and bring it forward. And it's the same format we've done with others, and so now it's your turn. So I would encourage y'all to speak up, and if you're talking too much, then pull back and let someone else speak up. But I think it's really important that we get your feedback. And here's what we're going to do. We'll start on this side, and we're going to talk about what's going well and what's going not so well. And we can just flip-flop back and forth. You can tell me what side to write things on. And here, then we'll switch here. So we've got exactly 30 minutes left before we gather for this all-farm roundup. We're going to talk about what we should do less of and what we should do more of. And so what we'll do at the end of it is I'll take a picture of this, summarize it, and then the group that comes in later this afternoon is going to follow the exact same format. Okay? So I'm going to start here on this side with what's going well and what's not going so well. And I'm going to start by just putting one thing up here that I heard regularly from all of you is the purpose. I think the mission and purpose seems to resonate. So I'll start us off by repeating that, and then I'm going to throw it over to you to give me more. Okay?
I think we're pretty efficient with production.
Okay.
We're kind of like a well-oiled machine when it comes to composting, squash, cut. I think we doubled our efficiency with like less time.
Don't wait for me to turn around to keep throwing stuff
I
out.
got
You
a
guys,
question about this. Is it about about
a good point.
personal, or you mean like with
It
the
can be about,
company?
it can be anything, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, unless you want to do pet peeves specifically and keep it focused on.
About anything. You
Yeah.
wanna
oh,
do it?
pet peeves can be anything.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
Or you
don't
wanna
need
think about it?
It's just
something.
another
You wanna
way to
think about
kind of
it?
learn something about
Because
you.
this is what I put.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, what's going well is
I don't like when
open.
people don't be honest with their words.
You mean open and honest? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I put.
Let's hear from more.
Long.
Go ahead.
Not going well is how little orders we sometimes seem to get. Like we can produce a lot, but I don't feel like we sell a lot.
Good. Good one.
But I guess that's just a matter of time when we start getting more.
Yeah, and kind of going along with that, like dialing in on how much we're growing versus how much we're selling, because I don't know about this week, but we're often composting, at least a couple of trays. Yeah, the donating is good.
But the donating's a little.
Yeah, we're very happy with that. The donating.
Now, let me ask about production efficiency. So we say everything's running really smooth and it's working great. How long would you say it's working this idea of curiosity to be better? Meaning, are we just repeating process and running through? Or is it like, wait, we could improve here or we could make things better?
And we're optimizing it.
Yeah. We're very efficient. Like, if people come up with new strategies.
Yeah, so that'd be definitely well. We're not just repeating process here. We're evolving, we're changing, we're improving, optimizing. Yeah. So
To kind of piggyback on the idea of that, we're also learning. Our team is very good at adapting different ways of doing things, different just plants or anything that has to do with change. We are really good at this. Like we're ridiculously good. So,
Because now with the experiment,
yes, ridiculously.
yourself too. Or just like
I guess a little bit more relevant, less relevant to what we're talking about, but like personally, I kind of feel like today I went to McDonald's and, everyone's at lunch during that time anywhere at all. but it would be kind of nice to have like at least 15 more minutes. So I would say more break time.
Are you saying longer lunch
Longer,
or more?
like yeah, a little bit
15
longer.
more.
Yeah, like 15 more, right?
15.
Yeah, because by the time I get here, I only have like 10 minutes to eat my fast food or whatever I decide to
I'm
eat.
good. I think 30.
And
30 minutes good.
I
Okay.
thought it was a bit higher.
Oh, it was your steps still.
No, good. Okay.
I think maybe I guess not the not well category. How best to start it? Like we kind of sit on this margin of like having all the people we need to do what we need to do, and then like, and then there could be days where, and it's not his fault, it's just how it happens. Someone's out, they take time off, they get sick, and suddenly like that margin we set on is hard to meet.
So the staffing is too tight, is what you're saying?
Or maybe like the work might be hindering how we.
Let's say there's 5 person. If one person not coming in, there's like lose 20% of the
Yeah.
workforce. So it's like now it's suddenly through the roof.
So staffing is too tight and the work distribution.
Yeah, it's maybe a little uneven, I guess. But with us being a little, less busy with not having to make as many orders, it hasn't acted for like a couple months now. But it hasn't been that bad.
Yeah.
But in the past, it has been kind of bad.
But if someone's on PTO, someone calls in sick,
Then it's
then you're like, ah.
yeah, a little bit. But people want to take time off.
Yeah.
So it's
do you
okay.
think that's like a ripple effect of like having low orders? Like, do you think it's because of that, like having not a lot of output from the company, the places go?
Maybe. a
Because
little bit.
yeah, to have more people, you get things going, but with less people, right? It's not balanced yet. The more we put out, I think that would kind of help out the whole idea.
I guess one little bit of insight, I don't necessarily know if it's like well or not well, but just more like information on the order side that see every one of them. The additional SKUs is kind of causing the workload to be like, or the perceived amount of stuff we're harvesting to be less. Even though each store is kind of ordering about the same amount, if not like a case or two more than they had, say, last year at around a similar time. It's just that it's being evened out, so you're not harvesting 7 trays of romaine today, you're harvesting 2 trays of romaine today and 2 trays of super greens and stuff. So that's been spreading it out, and they are in fact ordering, like I said, marginally more than they were last year, and we have 6 additional stores and stuff, so barring the Hardee's contract that we're not making all of the basil for, it's just like, it's just weird how it worked out, where now we're harvesting more trays, but more spread out, so it's like less,
So what do I take away from that? Is that
Put that in like 2 words.
That's good information. Yeah.
Provide an insight.
Yeah, that's kind of context
Yeah.
for what they're
Pretty much.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a thing about Northwell. I guess a lot of people talking, we are uncertain about what the future means for us. Like, what is 6 months from now should we look like, or 3 months from now?
Thank you.
Can you expand on that though, like production or process or like vision, direct, like this?
Could be also personal growth. I was like, what we like what to do better, or something to grow, or certain skill to get on, like a 6 month or 3 months, something like that.
So personal development, career development type.
Sure, yeah, that would, yeah, and also like as a company, I know we just restructure a little bit, and now we're waiting for the new facility. It's like, what's the timeline? If there is a timeline, something like that.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, because I remember at the town hall, like in November, was it? We announced, here are the plans for the new space, and then, wait a minute, now it's another space, and wait, now it's delayed. So I hear what you're saying. Okay.
I'll say something I worked here now for 2.5 years. I would use very basic technology to help us out. When we started, we were writing down like the trades we had to harvest on a whiteboard. And now we use a document on a Google Drive to track all that we're doing, and everyone's name is in it, they check off and return to the task. And it's all just basic stuff.
Then it's going to get better. Use of technology.
Just pointing.
As far as it getting better, like, do you have anything planned for us, like, to start learning about your type of technology or your interest? Because
Yeah,
like,
so, well, I don't want to, digress too much from the overall focus, but my number one priority is, my job is to make sure that the business runs as efficiently and optimized. Like you say optimize, I'm like, I love you. Otherwise it's like doing things the hard way. It's like I spend so much time getting people away from doing things the hard way. And here it's like naturally you're thinking that way. And I have, like, my perfect integration is with Bree and Lauren and Wolf. And that's where we can look at, like we were talking yesterday about, how can we monitor water? Because if the power goes out and plants aren't getting water, like that's severe.
And that has happened.
Yeah, exactly. So my point with looking at every different thing is how can we use technology to make everyone's job easier, faster, and more accurate. And then I just manage the information and make sure it moves through smoothly. But it's a process where you have to work together. It's not me coming in and saying, hey, you're gonna do this or use this, because I'm not in the farm every day. It's like Lauren said, boy, it'd be nice if we had something that could measure water. And that's why I need each of you to tell me. That's why I'm so big on curiosity to be better. Because that's what will make us better, is what you guys think.
Okay, 'cause, like, we used to have like a water counter. I used to plug it in with the hose
Yeah.
and like while I'm washing the process. I could actually visualize like how much water I'm using, because our tank was like super heavy and I was just using like say 100. So I could actually visualize it. That's why I wanted to have more water counter, so you can make more metrics.
Good.
And we can be more accurate with the market.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So before we leave this chart and go over here, is there anything that you want to like expand on or add or clarify?
well, that's what I was kind of getting at with that question when I had asked. Like, I have background with technology. I want to know if you would pick someone as a VFA to go up to your ladder of standards as far as like getting the technology and everything like that. Is the company willing to do that, or is that just something you have to look for outside for those kind of things? That's
does
the
that
kind
mean
of like,
looking for, like, as we talked about bringing up and we ramp up staffing, are we looking
yeah,
for
like
people
I'm just saying
internally to fill
futuristically
roles?
speaking, yeah.
Well, that's what Brooke did. I think
Okay.
any of you that knew Brooke very well, she came in and kind of was all over the place and naturally moved to where a role was filled.
Right.
And in a startup, I think each of you will find is there's not a defined lane. There's no swim lanes here. So if you want to learn something new, and a lot of you said you came here because you wanted to learn how to do farming so you could do it at home. So if you have a or you have a path that you want to take and there's an opportunity, I love helping people get in the right path.
Okay.
I loved helping Brooke find the right role for her, even though we realized here it just wasn't going to move at her pace. So yes, if there's something here that works, absolutely.
So here's one thing that I've heard about startups in how a startup evolves. So I'm going to say everyone in this room, maybe except for Cody, has been here longer than I have. And what happens with a startup is you start out, you've got your founders and leaders, and then everybody's doing everything. I'm doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's kind of like if you play checkers, then you're playing checkers. And all the pieces have the same, they all look the same, and they all have the same moves, they all can make the same moves, but you're playing a checkers game. But as a startup evolves and it hits a certain number of people or a certain number of amount of time or a certain level of production or whatever, you kind of stop playing checkers and you start to play chess. And in a chess game, every piece has a specific function because you can't keep having everyone doing everything. You start growing and evolving and developing expertise in certain areas. And I think we're starting to see some glimmers of that we're kind of stopping the checkers game and starting to play chess, where people are becoming more and more, the need for people is becoming more and more specialized. Now, some of those people will come from inside of the company when we develop an opportunity for something. Sometimes we have to go outside of the company to get that level of expertise or experience. So I think we're at that spot, and I don't know if that illustration helps you understand.
It helps me precisely on point because that's where I came from the last company.
Mhm.
It's only been up for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So I've seen the same patterns. I see it here too. But I know that this company is so much healthier, has better bones in my opinion.
Awesome.
And
I'm
yeah,
happy to hear that.
That's why I'm asking these questions.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got 2:15 now. Let's switch over here and tell us, what do you want to see less of? What do you want to see more of?
Oh, just less composting, less waste.
Ah, less waste. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
I want to be able to understand more of our compost. See if we could like make our own compost. Like just evolve it, if
So
possible.
less compost and more compost?
Well, like
Yes.
our own, like because we throw away a lot of things, and it would be interesting to understand if we could kind of find our own source of compost.
Method.
Yeah, method.
Well,
Okay,
and,
how's
yeah,
that?
and maybe bigger than just probably compost.
Yeah, I would say like overall like
Reuse
more
waste.
sustainability basically,
Yeah.
like reuse
Yeah, of course.
of things.
Okay. I like that. That explains it a little better than I did. Thank you, Bruce.
Use Lave's words, say sustainably sustainable.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
It's not be sustainable about these guys.
I know.
Okay.
I want us to have more like exposure, like Dream Harvest doing something on social media, stuff
Ah,
like that,
okay.
or event or something, like more exposure.
As an Earth Day project for the local school or community outreach.
Yeah.
Oh, and also specifically related to the more exposure stuff, Whole Foods now allows their like employees to wear branded hats, things like that. Almost every single person in every produce department in Houston Whole Foods wants hats and shirts. Great advertising opportunity. Customers really like buying things that they see the employees wearing.
Swag.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Swag for customers.
She says it with a straight face.
Yeah, I get that. I went into Whole Foods this week wearing my Dream Harvest t-shirt, and they're like, hey!
Yeah, see?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they love it, you know?
Oh, I was thinking about like stickers too.
Okay. For your water bottle.
Yeah, water bottles, laptops.
Yes.
Let's call it Wing.
Liam mentioned community outreach.
Swag and bling.
Community outreach.
There you go.
Keep going. Think big.
Spoke to me.
Not just what's in front of you, but big. I'm going to nudge you because you said this to me yesterday because you didn't think you would be here today, but you were very clear that you want
Oh, yeah, so 4K.
401k.
With a match?
with a match.
Sorry. If I was a pastor and something, it'd be a pastor of 401k.
He's like, he told me if we implement a 401k, he would do all the training.
I'm like, I'll shove you out of the way. Each one of you will do your 401k.
With or without a
That
match.
one should be taught.
Okay, let's keep going. Any less of anything? Any more of anything?
For less, I was looking at the labels, and I feel like the color block is just covering a lot of the green.
Okay.
Oh.
Because like the basil, you can hardly see it. And I know when shopping at the customer, if I'm gonna shop produce, I'm gonna grab it and look around, see if it's like.
But does it help that our containers are clear? So no, you can't see it like on the front, but you can still see it.
Okay.
I feel like transparency, just to have it like damn. That's just maybe personal thing.
Yeah, we were talking about that one time when thinking it just got the labels and it's
Yeah.
like just having like a clear strip
Yeah.
where it says like not the whole thing being
Not the whole
blue,
thing.
yeah, just a strip.
Very sure where it says.
Talk to Leif about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll be back on campus. Maybe tomorrow.
More company quality time, like company events or more time
hang
to
out.
spend with people outside of work.
Yeah, that was fun.
There's more basil also. Everybody really wants basil.
Like basil.
Basil game in town.
Well,
More
it's
basil.
summer. It's summer, and everyone's eating tomatoes.
Yeah, see?
For more, I would love if we expanded more on like also having a whole herb selection. It's more like basically more complicated.
You want to see thyme and rosemary and
Yes, we did see rosemary, but as like an experiment.
Okay.
And it was like
And
the
try it.
quality was just so
Yeah.
much higher than like what I had in the store.
I hear you.
More training.
Training. Tell me more.
Well, kind of along the lines of career development. I think any opportunities to learn, whether it's about what we're doing on the farm or from a department perspective, maybe there's opportunities to learn and
Yep. I mean, I think I would call out Dara and Brion for doing that rotation in the farm and working in your HR job or your horticulture job and working in the VFA role. I have learned so much from Brion's observations in the farm, and I love it. And I mean, my rotation in the farm yesterday, oh my God, arugula is so tiny. And it was really, really great to be there and doing the work with you guys for just a couple hours, but it's always eye-opening. Okay? Some more?
Some more or less.
Some more less?
More
Yeah.
like this, huh?
What do you think of benefits? I mean, we talk about 401k. Tell me, what did you think when we switched your PTO benefit from sick and PTO bank to combining it? Was that a good
loved
thing?
it.
What?
Great.
Great?
Great, yes.
We got that person worked
Heard that way.
Tell me more things like that. What do we need to know, like to shape the workplace or to, other things?
I mean, like more money, but that's.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it.
Yeah. Why am
That's a good call out for me, Bryce. And I think something that I consider is I know we have an hourly wage for everybody, but we do have other things that we offer, like a paid lunch, which if you figure you get 2.5 hours a week of paid lunchtime, that really increases your hourly wage by $1 an hour, pretty much. So effectively that is part of your total comp. And the fact that we were able to combine the PTO all into one bank gave you more available free time to spend as you wish. So we're trying to
Yeah.
do as much as we can, but I need to hear from you what's important in that regard. So I appreciate you calling that out.
Yeah, let me ask a prodding question. Right? And it's probably easy to say, and we kind of all answered it. What motivates you to come to work? What gets you excited? But what about when you leave at the end of the day? You're like, boy, I wish I didn't have to go back because of, or if I didn't have to deal with that again or something. Think in that kind of context.
For me, it's the knowing if you guys are strong about where we're going towards, and that worries me sometimes. Like, the change of this is happening, and then no, it's something else. That's the thing that worries me the most, is honesty within my communication. Because I kind of see the company as a relationship. Like, you're a whole entire thing, and I am too. I carry my interests as much as I hope you carry mine. So honest communication is actually a pet peeve of mine. Honesty.
So I mean, maybe we
I
can say
put
that probably in the less.
transparency in a parentheses.
Yes, maybe less non-transparency.
Mhm.
I mean,
More
I-
transparency, is that less?
Yeah.
I know, yeah, but that's where these keep. It's like they negate each other that way.
Mm-hmm.
True.
But what we're saying is we want not more. If we're saying we need more honest communication, we're saying we're not being honest,
Okay.
or honest enough, or whatever.
I like
Transparent.
the transparency. It's
Yeah,
much
just
better.
because it's the change that is the worry is what I
Yeah.
heard. It's
Yeah.
like we say, just like Natalia mentioned, in the town hall, November is one thing, and then the following town halls are completely different.
Yeah.
So
Let me ask that question. How are the town halls working for you?
I love it personally.
You do?
Get to hear a whole
Yeah.
different department, everybody talk a bit of their thing, however small it is, but it's great to know what everybody up to.
But that's good to know. I appreciate that because I wonder sometimes, like, do people like these things?
Yeah.
Are they often enough? Are they the right amount of time? Are they long enough? Is it frequent enough? Is it too
Once
much?
a month is good. I'm good with once a month.
They're quarterly, actually.
quarterly.
They're
Oh,
not
yeah?
once a month, they're quarterly right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
like that y'all switched to quarterly. 'cause I
Quarterly is
think
good.
More than y'all percent.
Okay. So quarterly is good.
But I would like
But
an
the-
opportunity for more exchange of information. So even though they are quarterly, in between, I think we could have some opportunity for some quick updates.
I think you're right. That's one thing
Oh, yeah,
Cody's
something we're
working
working
on.
on, yeah. And part of it, in a nutshell, is we need to have weekly communication or a message from Zane or everything that everyone can go into one spot, an intranet,
Intranet.
that
Like
has
a
that
news
type of
flash.
stuff.
Something.
Yeah, a
Okay.
newsletter, or here's a weekly or bi-weekly. I was gonna add on here for less, and if everyone agrees, less change.
Mm-hmm.
Like-
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
And I know that's difficult to deal with, right? That's saying like, change the traffic in Houston. Like, what can you do, right? But I think it's important to call that out because then we can discuss it to the leadership group and say, how do we deal with change yet be transparent with change, given everything?
You want to go to your pet peeves?
My pet peeves.
I'm going to tell you what mine is. I didn't write it down.
What is-
My pet peeve is dogs off leash when I'm hiking. I have a big dog who I do keep on leash. And when other dogs run around, it's like, oh my God, is that dog going to bite my dog? Keep your dog on a leash. That's my
All right, this is good. All right, so when I am hungry.
Great time.
Oh, yeah, great. Great.
Chewing with mouth open.
Oh.
Hopefully I haven't been up here, whoever thought of that was like, I'm up here chewing my gum with my mouth open. You're like, please stop. Entitlement. That's
Ooh,
actually
nice.
Good one.
That was a good
very
one.
applicable for here. Disorganization, everything has a home to live in, make
I like
sure
that
it
one.
returns.
Yes, I like
I like that one.
And lack of communication with honesty.
No, that was a good one.
Mine is when someone doesn't use a turn signal.
Oh, yeah.
It's like if I'm waiting to turn left and someone's coming towards me and they're slowing down and they don't put on that they're turning right, like I have to wait the whole time. And sometimes I think I'm motion out through the window like.
That's the intersection of the end of Breeze over there.
Yeah.
People coming out of that grocery store.
The
with
Walmart?
their- Turning up, turning left, turning right.
Walmart.
All right, so
Yeah, Walmart.
before we let you go, I want to
It's
thank you
terrible.
for being honest, for taking the time. I learned a lot about you and from you, and I'm very, very grateful. So what we're going to be doing, so thank you. And this doesn't end, the feedback. If you think of something or you want to catch us, Cody or I, anytime, whether we're here on site or online, just let us know. Because we can only do well by you if we know what you need. So keep it coming. Those are our values. They're in the employee handbook. They're on the website. Stay true. Think on your feet. Own it. Drive our impact. Be kind. I hope that you hear us using more and more of those words, like driving. Be kind. What's the right thing to do? Or let's be empathetic. Let's show. Come on in now. And what we're going to do now is a mixer surrounding those values. And Brianna and I will introduce it when everybody's here. So thanks for taking the time. Thank you. Okay.
No, you go. You first.
Very
relaxing. Yeah, you first. No, you go first.
Okay, minutes. We have 30 minutes.
Yeah. The
Taking it away from our office.
Good meeting?
Late here. Late here.
Oh, he came.